the drama of the moment. This is TNT Sports, home of NASCAR's race for the championship.
There is one word in racing that will raise the blood pressure of race fans and race teams. That word is Bristol, a simple high-banked half-mile track in the hills of Tennessee. Once each year, the NASCAR traveling fleet of man and machine comes here for the night race. Tonight, it's a Busch Series battle of talent and temper at, here comes that word, Bristol.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me...
TNT Sports welcomes you to Bristol as Cat Rental Stores presents the NASCAR Busch Series. Tonight, 250 laps around this half-mile concrete track. It is a challenging night of terror and triumph, and the noise doesn't necessarily end when the race is over. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Weber, and welcome to Bristol. How exciting is this place? I lost my voice, and the Busch race hasn't even started yet. There are 8 drivers in this race tonight that will compete in the Winston Cup race tomorrow night. Greg Biffle, the Busch Series point leader, starts 8th. The man chasing him, second in the points, Jason Keller, is 56 behind, but starts on the pole. There are 43 drivers in this field tonight, but no one has a more fascinating story to tell than Mike Harmon. Now, before you see this video, there are 2 things you should know. 1, no one was seriously injured. And 2, that's because of the safety measures legislated into these cars and the guys back at the shop that build them. Take a look at what happened here in Busch Series practice on Thursday. Mike Harmon comes off of turn 2, hits the crossover gate, and then slams into the wall. His car is hit by Johnny Sauter. Here it is again. The car virtually disintegrates, and then Sauter hits what's left. One more time, you can see the driver's compartment inside the roll cage. That's what protected Harmon. Then Sauter comes by and hits what's left of the car. Moments later, the miracle. Mike Harmon climbed out of that car uninjured. Track officials said the crossover gate was not properly secured at the time. Mike Harmon starts 42nd tonight with a provisional, and Dave Burns is with him.
And Bill, he sits ready to start in this car borrowed from fellow competitor Larry Gunselman. Mike, how did you survive that crash?
Well, you know, you learn how to crash and as well as you learn how to race these cars. And I, just bent over and crossed my arms after the steering wheel left my hands. And, NASCAR's done a tremendous effort of making these cars safer. And, I had all that gear on and evidently it helped. But I'm going to tell you, there was a lot stronger power than NASCAR that got me through that accident. And, must have had his hands wrapped around me. And I thank him for that. And you know who I'm talking about.
And the only injuries to Mike right now, a slight contusion on his right side from the seat. He said, I never thought about quitting. Let's go down pit road to Marty Snyder.
Well, Dave, up here at the front of the grid, Michael Waltrip starts 3rd. Of course, Mikey won last week at Michigan, so you can do it again tonight, Mikey?
Feel real good about it. The Aaron's, GE, Maytag, all the sponsors of this little Chevrolet Monte Carlo are here. If you're at home and they say you like NASCAR racing for the crashes, you've turned to the right channel. We're going to crash early, and we're going to crash often. I just hope I'm one of the survivors and get our Chevrolet to victory lane for the 2nd week in a row.
Plus, you got that neat little hose that blows out cold air for you.
Check it out. You want to feel it?
It's okay, Mikey, but I appreciate it. He's been to Bristol's hallowed victory lane before. 1993 that happened, Matt.
Marty, the fans may not remember who won the Bristol Spring Race, but they sure remember the post-race conflict and interesting and intense conversation between Greg Biffle and Kevin Harvick after their on-track contact. But the former series champ, he's put that all behind him. On his radar screen tonight, he's looking for his 3rd straight Bristol night race victory. A lot of the fans would like to see a 60 versus 29 with 1 lap to go, but what's it going to take to get this car in that position?
Well, I don't know if the 60 wants to see that, but he is the points leader, so this Sylvania car has been good since we unloaded it, and the guys have done a great job. But first key here, you got to finish the race, and Second key is need to put yourself in position to win, and track position is going to be really important. So that would be fun if it come down to a 60-29 shootout.
It would be exciting. Harvick hasn't won in Busch Series competition since this event 1 year ago. He rolls off fourth, Bill.
Thanks, Matt. This should be a wild night. I'll be watching, but not cheering. There will be plenty of excitement on the track. If you've seen a race at Bristol before, you know what it's like. If you've never seen a race here, get comfortable. Now, here are three guys that have brand new chairs in the booth for this weekend, and they'll still be brand new next weekend when we get to Darlington. Alan, Wally, and Benny.
Bill, thanks. You know, I can't tell you who's going to win tonight's race, but I can tell you two things will happen. There'll be a lot of sheet metal bent up, and there'll be a lot of dispositions bent up by the end of the night, too.
And, you know, 43 drivers right now, not one of these guys intend on spinning anyone out. But it's going to happen, and that guy that gets spun out, you cannot convince him the guy behind him didn't do it on purpose. He's going to be angry. The guy that hit him, when he gets angry, he's going to be angry. It's not a pleasant evening for these drivers out there.
Yeah, they may not start out like they're going to go after somebody, but during this race as a driver, you're going to get mad. There's no doubt about it. So you're going to be looking to use that chrome bumper a little bit during the race. If you're going to use a chrome bumper, though, here tonight, you want to get him in the middle or off to give that guy a chance. Slide him up out of the groove. But if you hit a guy going into the corner, you pretty much crashed him.
So how many cautions will there be? Will there be any post-race confrontations? The answers to these and other questions when we come back to Bristol. The start of the Food City 250 coming up in just moments on TNT. Cat Rental Stores presents NASCAR Busch Series Racing on TNT. Brought to you by the Cat Rental Store, where you can rent cat equipment and a whole lot more. By Smooth, Busch Beer, and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series. By Suzuki, maker of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles. And by General Nutrition Centers. Live well with GNC, the official vitamin store of NASCAR. There are 120,000 NASCAR fans in Thunder Valley tonight, all waiting to hear four very famous words in racing.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the words you've all been waiting for.
The 8 gentlemen you saw give the command to start engines were 8 of the 9 coal miners who were rescued from that terrible accident in Pennsylvania a couple of weeks ago. Delighted to have them here in Thunder Valley tonight. Look at this stadium. Look at this crowd. And this is the preliminary. All right, let's check out the starting lineup for tonight's race. Jason Keller, second in points, is on the pole for the second time in 2002. Scott Riggs, his teammate, is alongside.
Back in row 2 on the inside, Michael Waltrip starting exactly where he's going to start tomorrow for the Sharpie 500. Harvick on the outside.
Missouri's Jamie McMurray in row number 3 with Jeff Green, who won the Busch Series race here in March.
Back on the inside of row 4, Mike McLaughlin and Greg Biffle, the leader in the Busch Series points.
Scott Wimmer driving for Bill Davis, going to come from row number 5. And there is Jimmy Spencer. He never forgets, and he certainly remembers how to get it done here. One of his best tracks.
Starting in 12th today is Kenny Wallace. Let's talk to Kenny. Kenny, Benny Parsons, you got me?
10-4, Benny, I hear you.
Well, first of all, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
So, and congratulations on your victory Wednesday night in the All-Pro Series.
39.
39, but you won on Wednesday night. Was that an early birthday present?
Yeah, I guess it was. It was fun.
So how's the Stacker 2 car?
The Stacker 2 car is running good. It, usually qualify the top 6. Found ourselves back here in 12th, so we'll just have to be patient, but it's handling good. We'll just see how it plays out 100 laps into it.
Okay, now don't get mad at anybody. If they spin you out, they didn't mean to. You know that, right?
I hear you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, Kenny.
Thank you, Benny.
Kenny Wallace on his 39th birthday, the 94 winner of this race, going to come from row number 6. Looking through the rest of the starting lineup for tonight's race. Larry Foyt, Shane Meal, way back in row number 15.
There's Kenny's brother, Mike Wallace, the middle Wallace brother. Bushmiller.
And how about Jack Sprague? Talk about a season that's fallen apart here in these last 5 or 6 weeks.
Really struggling, these guys. Todd Bodine back in 36 with a good race car.
I hear Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to spot for Kerry tonight. We're going to listen in on the radio and see what we hear.
And Derek Cope back in the 40th position. He is the late entry into that 49 car.
And the youngster Brian Vickers brings up the rear of the field in his Dodge. Those who failed to qualify. Casey Kane driving for Robert Yates. Most notable on that list, he spun out on his qualifying lap. Wasn't high enough in points because they're not running all the races to get a provisional. And so he will have to watch the 43 who are in tonight's race as they get set to go. Beginning the parade and pace laps. Final thoughts from pit road before the mayhem begins. Marty?
Well, Alan, Jason Keller would love to win the Battle of Bristol, but the war of winning the NASCAR Busch Series Championship is the bigger focus for these guys. 56 points is all that separates him from the NASCAR Busch Series points lead, and Jason is on the pole tonight. Last time he was on the pole at Bristol, he led the most laps and won the race.
Marty, Jason Keller's coming off his season's worst finish, but he still gained points on Greg Biffle. Greg Biffle knows that now he's got to turn it up. He won this short track race, the Busch Series competition, back at IRP 3 weeks ago. He's never won a Busch race here in Thunder Valley. He liked to do that tonight. He rolls off 8. They made a slight shock change. The car was tight. But Randy Goss, as crew chief says, tonight the game plan is simple. Stay out of trouble for the first 200 laps, then let it go.
Dave, that former Busch Series champion Jeff Green finally won his first Bristol race earlier this year. But this is not the winning car. That car was destroyed at Richmond, another short track slugfest. But they had another winner in their pocket. This is the car that also won the race earlier at Charlotte. Alan?
3 drivers will have to drop to the rear of the lineup. Bobby Hamilton Jr. will give up 26th starting spot. His team made an engine change. The Brad Baker entry that is starting in 27th will go to the back. He missed the driver's meeting. And the Derek Cope car will drop to the back from 40th because of the driver change just before race time. Storylines will follow for you tonight.
And the battle for the championship between Keller and Biffle, it's a good one. And cautions, I think the over-under is 10. Wally, what do you think?
I'm going over.
You're going over.
Going over,
Alan?
BP.
I got the under. The average here is 8.
Okay.
And who fights tonight? I like that one.
We may fight tonight.
Yeah, well, you never know. Who's going to be pushing and shoving off the racetrack when this thing ends later on? 250 laps tonight is the distance here.
That's a slow pit road speed, isn't it?
30 miles an hour. And don't forget the 2 pit roads here with the rules for the caution flag pit stops that they started back in the spring.
And you see the pit window, obviously these cars can run much farther than that on fuel. We estimate they'll be stopping about that for tires. But you know, we saw Kurt Busch in the spring.
Yeah, some of them won't.
Yeah, some of them won't. So he ran 150, 60 laps to win the race.
Will we have another strategy smorgasbord?
Strategy smorgasbord.
Hot, steamy night here tonight, too. Chance of some isolated thunderstorms, but things look pretty good right now. As the field comes down for the start. NASCAR Busch Series racing from Bristol before 120,000 fans. What a crowd, what a race it's going to be.
Harvick takes over that second spot.
Jason Keller gets the lead on the break. Harvick to second. Scott Riggs third. Michael Waltrip fourth. Jamie McMurray fifth.
It gets single file quick here, don't they?
Oh, yes.
Got to be on the bottom of this racetrack. That's the fastest way around. That's where the grip is on this place. So everybody's diving to the bottom and getting in line. And if you're stuck in top, you're screaming at your spotter going,
oh! Kevin LePage and Tony Raines made some contact.
And that was heavy contact that LePage made with the outside retaining wall off turn 2.
He's got to have some damage off of that.
Here's Jamie McMurray going to get fourth spot from Michael Waltrip.
Kind of shoved Mikey up the hill.
And here's where you could lose a lot of spots. You've got to get down on the bottom groove, or these guys will just train right by you.
There's no way right now. There goes Jimmy Spencer, the one car by Michael. As soon as before he gets his car back under control, Biffle is there. Mikey finally gets back to the bottom.
All right, so that puts Michael back in 7th. He started in 3rd.
Is that LePage's car that's smoking? We keep seeing go by the camera there?
Yeah. On board, Greg Biffle running in 8th.
That's Mike McLaughlin right behind him, the MB&A car. And Scott Wimmer right behind Mike. And watch these cars just bounce around.
Yeah, this is a physical racetrack for sure. You are busy here all the time. You're turning all the time. It's the world's coolest roller coaster.
The ultimate e-ticket ride. Mike Harmon, whom we talked to a moment ago, has retired the car he was driving from the race. The car was set up to be run at Daytona, and Talladega wasn't really appropriate for here at Bristol. So he ran a couple of laps and decided to let discretion be the better part of valor for the evening. One was enough for the weekend.
Yes.
Greg Biffle chasing Michael Waltrip here. This is the race for 7th spot.
And we can see just how these cars move around.
He's really playing that throttle.
And Michael is really bottoming out coming off turn 2.
Remember this race a year ago? Greg Biffle was leading. About 14 laps to go. Cut a tire down. Faded back into the field and finished 18th.
You had that written down, right?
Yeah. That's why I remember it. Here's Jason Keller starting to get into traffic.
Took 12 laps.
That's Derek.
Oh, trouble. Turn 4. Kevin Grubb.
Still green, still green.
It's Grubb's car down on the apron in the bottom, and the yellow flag is out. First one. Took 12 laps to get it.
And Grubb gets slapped. Oh.
Jason Keller is the leader. We're under the first caution flag here at Bristol. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Under caution at Bristol for Kevin Grubb's spin in that 54 car in turn number 4.
Looked like Kevin dove underneath Ricky Hendrick there, and Hendrick shut the door on him. Instead of taking Hendrick out, he kind of took himself out, or he spun the car.
And lost a lap as Steve Grissom goes by the 34 car. One more replay. On board Hank Parker Jr. And that's Tim Fiedler in the 31 car.
Nice job there by Steve Grissom and Johnny Sauter.
And luckily he stayed on the accelerator and drove off the racetrack down on the apron of the track rather than locking the brakes up and backing across the track in front of all that traffic.
And did he lose 1 or 2 laps on that?
I think he lost 1, I believe.
Yeah. He is back in 42nd spot. Only car not on the lead lap. But he may be about to lose another one. I'm hearing monitoring NASCAR race control that he may be about to come back down pit road and sit for a lap. Follow up on that in a minute. Getting ready to go back racing. It'll be Jason Keller, Kevin Harvick, Scott Riggs, Jamie McMurray, and Jeff Green in the top 5.
Outside only.
Well, they tried wrecking in turn 1. But Joy had the car down on the apron.
Don't let the fact that this is only a half-mile track fool you. This place is fast.
You saw Mike Harmon's 44 car, how badly it was torn up when he hit the wall yesterday, so you can imagine. That was about probably 80, 90 miles per hour. We'll see top speeds around 130 miles per hour at the end of the straightaway.
That's Kevin Grubb just coming back out from a drive-through penalty down pit road. He pulled up to pit. You're supposed to stay in line where you are on the racetrack until you get to the opening of pit road. He moved up some cars on the inside and then went onto the pit lane, and he got caught.
And Greg Biffle loses the spot to Mike McLaughlin.
Mike in the 8th position. And Scott Wimmer, the 23 car, pulls up right on the back bumper off Biffle.
Wimmer finished 6th and 3rd the last 2 tries here at Bristol and made the race in Bill Davis's 3rd Winston Cup car for the tomorrow night Sharpie 500. I wonder if he's still wearing that Dick Trickle t-shirt. He put on a Dick Trickle t-shirt about 2 months ago as kind of a, Trickle, Wisconsin, one of his boyhood racing heroes, said it brought him good luck. They started running well when he put the t-shirt on.
I hope he's washed it.
Caution, turn 4. Larry Gunselman almost came right back up in front of the leaders in that 94 car. I hope he has 2. All right, there's 2.
There's 2.
My under isn't looking good here, is it? Jason Keller is the leader. Second caution flag early here as Cat Rental Stores presents NASCAR Busch Series Racing at Bristol. Let's check the Wendy's race menu. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, it is the Sharpie 500. Coverage begins with Discover Kart Countdown to Green. We're going to talk about the emotions of being a race driver, among other things. Tomorrow night, 7 Eastern Time, NASCAR on TNT. Look at this stadium. Every time you come here, you just can't help but be fascinated by it.
Great piece on Joe Gibbs Racing, too.
Yeah.
In that deal.
Yep. And Weber will have his voice back. Pace cars off. Here we go. It is Kevin Grubb to the inside of Jason Keller, trying to get one of his 3 lost laps back. And Larry Gunselman, who brought out the second caution a moment ago, also there, down to the inside of the leaders. Under that caution, Jack Sprague, Shane Hall, Brian Vickers, and Chad Chaffin made pit stops, by the way. Pressure on 3rd place here.
That's Scott Riggs in the 10 car, Jamie McMurray in 27, Jeff Green in 21, Jimmy Spencer in the 1 car, all trying to contest that 3rd spot.
Mikey Waltrip's fallen back to 7th spot, Dave.
And Alan, his words on the radio were extremely loose. I talked to Bobby Kennedy, his crew chief. He said, he radioed back to Michael actually and said, we'll wait for the pressures to come up, and if it's still bad loose on the first round of pit stops, we'll put some wedge in it.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of teams started the race with the cars loose because...
Oh, the back stretch back there. All over the place. Sorry, guys, but
you were saying
as the night wears on and as it gets a little bit cooler, the cars theoretically should get a little bit tighter. Oh, we got trouble.
I was watching that happen, and the
it's not done yet. Mike Wallace caught Steve Grissom. There's 5 of them spun behind him as they jacked up on the brakes.
The 94 car slid up, and I didn't see the first car he got into, but
Stacy Compton, Jack Sprague, Larry Foyt, Brian Vickers all caught up in it. Kerry Earnhardt just collected Jack Sprague trying to get turned around. That's your basic mess back there.
And that was Mike Wallace in the Geico car, wasn't it? We saw taking his gloves off.
I watched the, I think, 94 car here, Gunselman, and he's working on Grissom, and he slides up the racetrack, gets into Steve.
I disagree. Gunselman's left side tires never moved off that yellow line.
Well,
I think Steve came down on him.
You see Ricky Hendrick in the 5 car kind of drive through. Grissom comes back down, and there comes Mike Wallace.
I know what you were thinking, though. Gunselman was a lap down, and Grissom was trying to get around him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't getting any break.
On board with Mike Wallace.
Spin in front of you, Mike. Low, go low. Low.
Lower.
Hamilton Jr. got a piece of that. Mike's out of his car. That's good. All but Brian Vickers have driven away from the mess on the back straightaway, and we're under caution once again at Bristol.
This Sunday, Witchblade takes over TNT. See every episode back-to-back and don't miss the drama of Witchblade. This Sunday, noon to 11. Only on TNT.
How many cautions will there be tonight here at Bristol? We're at lap 38. We've had 3 already. Check our Stacker 2 race fact. Steve Grissom driving that 34 car. Only driver to win back-to-back Busch Series races here in Thunder Valley. 1995 was a very good year for Steve.
And we see the heavy damage to the back of that car. And Wally and I were talking during the break, and as he's going behind the wall to try to repair the car. But you know, we got a bunch of torn up race cars, and right now Steve Grissom is blaming Larry Gunzelman, and Larry is blaming Steve Grissom. And
all these guys are blaming both of them.
And yeah, exactly.
9 cars got damaged in that accident. And the cleanup continues out on the backstretch. Mike Wallace and Steve Grissom, along with Brian Vickers, have gone behind the wall.
On the racetrack, living on the edge.
Anytime we can race under the lights, it brings out the best in all of us.
The most exciting thing I think we do all year.
No room for mistakes, and tempers can flare.
It's all about do what you have to do to win a race.
On the racetrack, living on the edge.
Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee, filled with 120,000 fans tonight. There'll be more here tomorrow night for the Winston Cup race. Here's another look. 9 cars tangled up in this one.
Well,
that was behind what really
that was behind the
it.
wreck. Yeah, that's Larry Foyt getting booted from behind, and 24-car Sprague, and see the 40-car Brian Vickers. They had to tow his car away.
Vickers, Steve Grissom, Mike Wallace are behind the wall, and let's try this again, shall we? Casey Mears loses a lap as he's on pit. Oh, trouble, turn 1. At least a dozen cars involved.
I don't know if we're going to get to 10. We may not have enough cars left.
And the 54 car, I will tell you, got a lap back. There he goes. Kevin Grum. That Johnny Sauter in the 2 car?
Johnny Sauter, Derek Cope, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Mark Green, Stacy Compton, Shane Hall, Shane Meal, Larry Foyt again. Who else? Jack Sprague stopped behind it, I believe. I don't think he got into that one.
And Johnny Sauter, that car there looks a great deal like the car that he crashed with Mike Harmon here on Thursday.
Yeah, that's their second car of the weekend. And back here in March, he was involved in about half the cautions in the Busch Series race then. He was around all of them. He came away very frustrated from that race.
It must be a fire under.
Well, it's leaking a lot of fluid.
Yeah, a lot of fluid.
I think NASCAR's trying to get him to get it off pit road in case anybody comes down the pit lane. All right. Top of the screen. Is that Mark Green and Hamilton Jr. that tangled to start it?
I don't know. See Shane Meal, the 47 car. And
oh, this gives us a good look. On board Mark Green.
Looks like he got hit. Came left rear.
Mark Green and Hamilton Jr. tangled to start this one.
In the right rear a little bit, guys, and then the right front in the wall.
4th caution is out at Bristol. Prime time, top 25 college football returns to TBS on Saturday night starting September 14th. Pac-10 and Big 12 are the featured conferences. It's Big Play Saturday on the Superstation, September 14th. Young lady, if you'd seen what's been going on in this race so far, you wouldn't stand there very long.
they should get off the racetrack real fast.
4th caution of the race involved about a half a dozen cars down inside turn 1.
And it looks like in the back that Hamilton Jr. right there.
A little bit under Green, it looked like.
And Wally, that's exactly like what you talked about at the top of the show. If you make contact with someone going in the corner like that, we got big problems.
Going to be a crash. And that is a crash.
5, 6.
Boy, Gibbs, the 20 car, about a beautiful car.
7, 8, 9, 10 involved in all. Marty?
Well, Stacey Compton, one of the victims. Your night started off bad with a flat left front, which put you back in the field, and then that mess, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, if you get back there, you just have to get tore up, and I hate it for the Kingsford Johnsonville Chevrolet. We had a good race car, but we won't find out tonight. We had a left front go down right off the bat, and had to come in. We got too far back. We got caught up in the melee, and we thought we had that wreck on the back mist, and I mean, it's just Bristol. You just don't have anywhere to go. We checked up, and Jack didn't have anywhere to go. I think somebody got him and got us turned around, and then over here somebody knocked the oil cooler off, had oil all over the track. Nobody could get stopped, and it'll be a long night.
It's going to be a long night. They will get him back out, but it won't be much fun. Matt?
Marty, the AC Delco guys are quickly trying to replace the radiator and fix all the other beaten and battered pieces on this number 2 car. And Johnny, it's been a tough weekend for you, and it was tough to try to make it through that melee.
I couldn't really hear you, but it's been a tough weekend for this AC Delco Chevrolet. Second car of the weekend, and just unfortunate. It's Bristol, and that's the way it works.
But they're going to try to get this car back out there for points. He had a great momentum wave going. Last 6 races, 3 finishes of 6th or better. This is going to hurt tonight.
Got 9 cars off the racetrack already, and we're very early on in this race. Tomorrow night, experience more in-car camera action with NASCAR In-Car on In Demand. With NASCAR In-Car, you get 5 in-car camera channels with virtual dashboards, real-time in-car data, and live team audio. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order the half-season package. It's only on digital cable. You were saying, sir?
I was just going to say, the next 2 nights you'll hear that phrase a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's Bristol.
Yep. Got one of the jet blowers up on the banking of 1 and 2, trying to blow all the oil dry off to clean up the oil from the oil cooler that was ripped off that you heard Johnny Sauter and Stacey Compton talk about.
We talked about our storylines at the very top. Cautions, over, under. I said 10. Wally took over. Alan took under. All right.
So we're
10. That's the over, under.
That's a P.
Well.
And now we're on what?
This would be 4.
4.
We haven't raced long enough or hard enough to figure out who fights tonight. But give it a little while. Okay, in this crash, 10 of them. Oh, they've got a few more than 10 there. They've got a dozen of them.
Yeah, I didn't see the 75 car of Butch Miller. Or the 49 car of Derek Cope.
Or LePage. I didn't see him in there, did I?
Yeah.
Whole 19 car of Timmy Sauter. I didn't see him either. So
yeah, they were right in the middle of that big knot of cars that came sliding to a halt. Michael Waltrip is on pit road.
Now, Michael Waltrip, this pit road is forever and ever. He's going to pit on the front stretch. Here he comes. He's finally getting to his pit, Dave.
And they decided that the loose condition would not fix itself with an air pressure increase in the tires, so they're going to make a wedge adjustment for that really loose end. He also said, my foot's getting hot. You got to believe the right foot, since that's the pedal he's always on, the gas pedal. So they're handing him a heel boot so that he can put that on his right foot. He just got that handed through the window. 4 tire change, and they'll send him back out.
Well, he's going to give up 7th place to come down pit road, and he's going to be way back in the 30s somewhere when this restart goes. Jason Keller leads. We're under caution for the 4th time here at Bristol. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Sometimes a warrior's worst enemy is his replacement.
You still don't get it, do you, Cap? Your men are obsolete.
See Kurt Russell in Soldier, next after NASCAR on TNT. We know drama.
Had some drama in the opening laps here at Bristol as the cleanup continues from the 4th caution of this race.
Well, this is the first time we've used this pit road on TNT. All cars enter pit road in this area. They go down the backstretch pit, around 3 and 4. And you see the timing lines back here in 3 and 4. And then Michael Waltrip stopped here at his pit. If you're on the front pit, you got to come all the way here, make your pit stop. And all the cars are timed here as they exit pit road.
And the reason that was done is to try and even up the disadvantage for pitting on the backstretch.
Exactly.
Some teams, in fact, chose to pit on the backstretch because NASCAR put that procedure in. Greg Biffle qualified 8th, could have gotten a front stretch pit spot, but he chose the first pit stall on the backstretch.
Well, actually, there are only 4 decent pits on the pit roads, 2 on the front, 2 on the back.
But in the green, when it's green lap, you don't have to come in that way. You come in the normal way.
Which is directly off of the racetrack onto the front or backstretch pit road, wherever your car is. Whoa! Kevin Harvick dicing a little bit with that lap car of Kevin Grubb. By the way, Michael Waltrip restarted 21st because of other cars who pitted under this caution.
I'll tell you what, Kevin Grubb has a good race car tonight. He's able to stay up there right in front of Kevin Harvick.
Casey Mears in that 66 is a lap down. Actually, he's 4 laps down because of an extended stay on pit road a moment ago. Coy Gibbs about to go a lap down in the 20 cars. Jason Keller overtakes him.
See Scott Riggs in the Nesbitt car right on the back bumper of Harvick. Putting a little pressure on the 29 car. Oh!
Gotta go. And so Harvick said to the lap car, okay, you've had your chance to get your lap back this time. Excuse me. Steering problem on the Casey Mears car has brought him to pit road.
Boy, I tell you, this is one racetrack you would not want to drive around without power steering if you could help it.
I was going to say, you used to.
I used to, but the front end setting was a lot different than it is now. There's Michael Waltrip trying to get back towards the front.
Kerry Earnhardt running just behind Mikey in that 12 car back in 19th. I told you Dale Earnhardt Jr. was spotting for Kerry tonight. Let's listen in on some of their communication from a little while ago during some of these cautions.
Copy.
Yeah, copy.
You looked real good in 1 and 2. I think you learned a few times that you were overdriving the interest there, and you learned how to kind of get up off of that corner better. You still extended into 3 a little too hard where I'm at. Looks like you could go in a little easier and keep it lower. Even though you go in hard, your runoff's real good. The car's really good, looks really good. If the 25 is a decent car, your car looks really, really good as far as kind of turning down pretty decent. But just keep reminding yourself not to overdrive it. Just keep reminding yourself not to overdrive the corners.
That's easy to do.
Yes.
Overdrive the corners. And what Dale's talking about is just driving the car in really, really deep.
Lead change.
Wow.
Kevin Harvick, once he got that lap car out of his way, closed up on Jason Keller in a big hurry.
Tell you what, Harvick likes these nighttime races, doesn't he? Didn't I read someplace? Didn't I hear someone say that he's won 2 in a row at night?
Yeah, these last 2.
All right.
So Harvick becomes the second leader of the race. After Jason Keller led the first 66 laps, now Harvick is out in front. Keller, Riggs, Jeff Green, Jamie McMurray, and Jimmy Spencer back through 6th place. Greg Biffle still running in 8th. And Michael Waltrip up to 16th after the pit stop a moment ago. Scott Riggs hanging right in there in 3rd with these front 2, Marty.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. Real quick quiz for Wally and Benny. What are the 3 most important words at Bristol, guys? Patience, patience, patience. That's what they're preaching to Scott on the radio, and he's doing a good job. In fact, his crew chief, Harold Holley, said before the race, now, Scott, what are the most 3 important words at Bristol, and he made him say patience 3 times. Their goal, take care of it for 200 laps, go for it in the last 50. He's doing a pretty good job taking care of the car right now. Like most other cars, he is loose as well.
Running in 3rd place. Finished 9th here back in March, did Scott Riggs. And this is his 2nd Bristol try in a NASCAR Busch Series car.
Here's a guy, the points leader in the NASCAR Busch Series, that's really struggling. See Scott Wimmer, that car in front of him is Wimmer, who passed Biffle a couple of laps ago and had just driven away. Matt, what's going on with the 60 car?
Well, Benny, Greg Biffle reporting to his crew chief that the car is loose on entry, a little snug in the center, and loose up off the corner. He just cannot hold on to 23, and keeping that bigger picture in mind, he let Wimmer go by, knowing better to let him go and fight another day when they get a chance to work on this race car somewhere around lap 84 to 86.
So in other words, when they stop at 85 or 90, that means they're going to try to go the rest of the way, Matt, you think?
Well, Benny, that's one thought process down here on pit road, but I talked to his crew chief, Randy Goss. They are looking at this juncture, one more stop, but it depends on how this race plays out. Track position is so important. You've seen it all year, and you've seen it especially here in Bristol the last 2 or 3 races.
While we were talking about Scott Riggs, this was the pass that Scott Wimmer made on Greg Biffle.
Well, it looked like Biffle he was loose getting in there to begin with, and it looked like he was saving the car and then got the shot from Wimmer, so he is loose.
And Biffle running back in 9th place now.
And when you're loose like that, you can't get after the throttle. You've got to, and you really need to get out on the throttle aggressively here at Bristol and be fast, so he's having a hard time.
Kevin Harvick is the leader of the Food City 250 at Bristol. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Cat Rental Stores presents NASCAR Busch Series Racing from Bristol. Kevin Harvick is the leader after 89 laps, but those behind him have shuffled up their positions, including a new runner-up.
Scott Riggs, and right now seems to be a little bit faster than Kevin Harvick.
Riggs takes 2nd. Jimmy Spencer has moved to 3rd. Jeff Green was 3rd. He got passed by Spencer. He's 4th. And Jason Keller, who was 2nd, has very quickly, just in a matter of 4 or 5 laps, gotten shuffled all the way back to 5th.
Jimmy Spencer passed like 3 cars in a lap and a half.
What's up with Keller, Marty?
Well, Alan, his car is loose like many of the race cars we've talked about tonight. And the thing that he's got to do, Wally, is he's got to wait on the throttle when he comes off the corner. He's loose off, and that just kills you here at Bristol. It takes away all your momentum, and you don't have much time to build up any momentum here at Bristol.
Yeah, it's the same problem that we're watching Biffle when you can hear him on the onboard camera. He's really playing with the throttle. He can't get after that throttle, and that hurts.
So Keller again has fallen back to 5th. Greg Biffle is running in 8th now. So the top 2 in points fairly close to each other on the track. Another one who slipped back is Jamie McMurray. He's fallen behind Keller and Biffle, and he's back to 10th place. As you watch Jason negotiate some traffic.
It's funny, a lot of guys at happy hour of the Cup practice were, tight. A lot of guys were screaming tight. A lot of these cars are loose.
And Michael Waltrip, the 99 car, what a terrific run he has going. And Jamie McMurray in 27, we saw him in the top 5. He is falling back outside the top 10.
How about Mikey Waltrip, Dave?
I checked with Bobby Kennedy just a minute ago, guys, and he said it was a little better. Little. But it's running pretty good to me.
Did they put tires on, Dave, when they came in?
They did. They changed 4.
So Michael, after restarting in 21st place, has moved back up into the top 10. NASCAR on TNT from Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. Tonight, the NASCAR Busch Series running 250 laps. It has been wild and woolly so far. We've had 4 caution flags already, a couple of them for multiple car accidents. For most of the early laps of the race, Jason Keller led, then Kevin Harvick went by him, and Harvick is in command now as we approach lap number 100. Championship standings, Keller, Biffle pretty close to each other on the racetrack. Michael Waltrip, the only one of the front runners who's been on pit road. He's trying to make his way back through. And really, the story has been all of the beating and banging and crashing that we saw in the first 50 laps.
Well, maybe they've seen all these torn up race cars. They figured out there's not a lot of future in that, so they're going to drive a lot better.
Hey, guy that is coming, boys, is Jimmy Spencer.
Michael Waltrip, one of those, along with Kevin Harvick, that we will see in tomorrow night's NASCAR Winston Cup action here on TNT. Our coverage of the Sharpie 500 begins with Discover Card Countdown to Green at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. There'll be 147,000 people here. You know how I know that number?
Someone told you?
There'll be 100. There are 147,000 seats here.
Oh, I see.
And they'll all be full. 7 Eastern tomorrow here on TNT. Where did Harvick qualify for that race anyway?
Here's Jimmy.
Harvick will start 23rd.
Looking at second place right here.
All right,
Sees the hole, takes it.
Yes, sir. Scott Rigg loses a spot, Marty.
Well, Scott Riggs, the biggest concern now, Vinny, is that his brakes are a little glowing red, and they are early into the race for the brakes already to be glowing as much as Scott's brakes are glowing. His crew chief, Harold Holley, radioed to him a moment ago, said, look out, those brakes are a little too red for my liking, so they're having to try to back off the brakes a little bit, but that's kind of hard to do, isn't it, Vinny?
Yes, it is. And we can see the rotors on the 10 car. A little bit red, which means they're at what? 1,000 degrees, 1,100 degrees. See,
hot.
Just inside the wheel, the brake rotor. And as these tires, you know, with these new tires, you don't use a lot of brakes this racetrack. Just kind of keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack. But as these tires get hot and the car starts sliding more, you've got to use more brake. To keep that car on the bottom of the racetrack, if you don't use the brakes, you go in and let it slide up the hill, you're not going to make much progress.
Yeah, you're almost using the brake just to keep the car down on the racetrack more than you are even really slowing down.
Can you believe that we have run 50 laps under the green flag?
Not really.
Since that last restart, that's the way the race started. That's kind of hard to believe.
Here comes Jimmy.
I'm telling you, boy, that Jimmy is coming.
Marty? How about Jimmy Spencer, huh?
He's doing really well. He started out loose, and you called it, Vinny. The track is starting to tighten up for Jimmy Spencer's car just right. His car's coming to him a little bit. It's still kind of loose, but he said it's better than it was at the beginning of the race. And here's the good part. He said he's saving the car right now. He's saving something for later in the race.
Looks like his brake rotors are about as cherry red as the 10 cars.
Jimmy Spencer doesn't save race cars.
No.
Jimmy is driving his butt off.
And he might save money. He might save money, but not race cars.
Right. And his car looks like it's a little bit loose off, which is okay. You can get away with that here.
Yeah,
looky here. Just go right by Harvick. Take the lead.
Harvick's going to let him go. And wouldn't you if you saw Spencer come up that fast?
Jimmy Spencer in your mirror at Bristol.
Well, I wasn't thinking along those terms. I was just thinking the fact that he closed on him so quick. Remember the end of the Busch race here in the spring? Jimmy Spencer involved in a little controversy. They had a caution, and so the leaders were racing back to the finish line. He tried a little bonsai move off turn 4 to see if he could steal the win away from Jeff Green, except that the apron wasn't very accommodating to his race car. He wound up hitting Jack Sprague, and he and Sprague had a little discussion.
Well, I think Sprague did most of the talking, and Jimmy did most of the listening in that situation.
Yeah.
Jack close up.
He said, yeah, I can't hear you.
and you know, Jimmy was like that last week. I mean, he just kind of back there, then all of a sudden, boom!
You know what?
He flew by me. I don't know where he finished 9th, I guess. So.
Yeah. This team has had troubles finishing races this season, though. They've run 14 races, and they failed to finish 7. Last year, they were a contender to win every week when they went out. This year, they've just kind of struggled.
And Jimmy's fastest by a lot here at Bristol.
Speeds at the line. Yes, he is fastest. Coming up on halfway here at Bristol tonight, Jimmy Spencer is the leader. He's in some pretty heavy lap traffic. About to put 19th place Ricky Hendrick 1 lap down. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Tuesday night, check out the best in Major League action on the Superstation. The Braves travel to Pittsburgh, then to take on the Pirates. Major League Baseball's best on TBS Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. Jimmy Spencer, the race leader, coming to the crossed flags, the signal that the race has reached its halfway point.
Now, this isn't last year. Just a few laps ago.
A few laps ago, Jack Sprague in the 24 car in that 0 car, and Jimmy Spencer drives up behind him and says, "Jack, I'm back here. I'm much faster." And Jack, the next corner, heeded that warning and got out of the way.
Probably a good call.
Yes. Because Spencer is so much faster than anyone on the racetrack right now.
He's in some heavy traffic here. 92 is Todd Bodine, 16th place, about to go a lap down. Hard to figure here for Todd. He has won here a couple of times in Busch Series racing. Now, you hate to rule anything out at Bristol, but at this point, you feel pretty safe in saying not tonight. Boys, you're over under.
Looks like it's in trouble right now because we've only had 4.
And we are past halfway.
When they come here, they come like in grapes. They're in bunches, though, like Todd Bodine. Spencer's right there, 3 wide.
Yeah, Todd's had enough of that. So now 15 cars on the lead lap. Spencer is mowing through this field.
He's driven away from Kevin Harvick by 2 1/4 seconds. And at this racetrack, that's a long ways. Hank Parker Jr., the next car directly in front of Jimmy Spencer. Parker is in the 15th position.
That would desperately like to see a caution here to try and stay on the lead lap. Story of this one, Jason Keller led the first 12 laps. Then Kevin Harvick went by him just for a lap. Then Keller led again from 14 to 67 and gave it up for good and slipped back into the field. Jason is running in 9th place now. Kevin Harvick took the lead from lap 68 to 108 before Jimmy Spencer went rumbling up around him.
And Parker Jr. goes a lap down, Dave.
Yeah, they tried to get that car better for Hank. It was a little bit loose earlier. They made a track bar adjustment to try to fix that, but it still can't keep up with that 1 car.
And all of a sudden the 10 car, Riggs, losing position after position.
Well, it looks like he slid up. Now he's got a flat right rear, possibly. He slid up the racetrack going into turn 3, and then they all freight trained him, but he's staying out there.
He's going to stay out there and get run over, being careful. Now he's going to the pits.
So, tough break there for Scott Riggs.
Oh, no! He pitted the wrong spot. He's pitting on the front stretch, isn't he?
Yeah.
He could have gone around and come off turn 4. He didn't realize that he could come off the racetrack. Oh, my goodness, how much time he's losing.
And that's what we talked about earlier, that you only have to do that under yellow.
Oh, no!
And he's going to go down extra 2 laps for that, at least.
Let me ask you this. You're a driver and out there in the heat of competition. Do you have time to remember the difference in the rules? Should the rules all be the same for green and yellow flag stops, or is this okay the way it is?
No, I think you can remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is okay. Marty?
And he already apologized on the radio to the team, said, "I'm sorry, I was focused on this right rear. It is a flat right rear tire. That bit them here in the spring, too. They had a great run in the top 5 going, had a flat right rear with 10 laps to go. Happened to him a couple of weeks ago at IRP as well. They thought they might have a good car tonight, good enough to win the race, but obviously he's going to have to make up a lot of ground if he's going to do it tonight."
He'll get helped quite a bit if the race stays green through the leaders stopping.
Yeah, because he can make it now the rest of the way, and every other leader, every other car has to stop and make another pit stop.
Yeah, but he lost that extra lap or 2 because of that mess up, so it's not really going to help him. I mean, it's going to help him, but...
You're right. But if a caution comes out now, he's really in a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah.
He could get back to 1 lap down if it stays green through the leaders stopping. And let's just go back and recap in case you're not familiar with the pit road rules. Because of the 2 different pit roads here at Bristol, in order to take away the disadvantage the backstretch pit used to be, Under caution, everybody has to go down the backstretch pit road and the front stretch pit road both at that 30-mile-an-hour pit road speed.
Yes, they enter the pits here and go down pit road around and there. That's on the caution flag. But if you put it on the front like Riggs, you can come directly off the racetrack down to your pit under the green flag conditions.
So spending all that time at 30 miles an hour down the back is what cost him at least a lap. He is 3 laps down in 25th place at this point to leader Jimmy Spencer. Spencer Harvick, Jeff Green, Mike McLaughlin up to 4th. Haven't talked about him much. And Mikey Waltrip now rounding out the top 5 at Bristol. Cat Rental Stores presents NASCAR Busch Series Racing at Bristol, and the caution flag is out for trouble in turn 3.
And I believe that Hank Parker Jr. and Todd Bodine both were able to get a lap back, beat Jimmy Spencer, the leader, back to the line. So
I don't think Todd got it.
Okay.
Right there. Okay, I'll be coming in.
All right, we will see all
Remember,
the
we got to
leaders
enter
in.
off of turn 2.
That's Mark Reno.
3,800 second.
They're not saying anything, so maybe he did get that lap back.
3,800 second gear.
Actually, what NASCAR's just called for them to check the photo finish camera to see if they got the laps back or not. Mark Reno, the spotter, and team manager, talking to Jimmy Spencer, reminding him of his pit road speed and the fact that he's got to come on to pit road off of turn 2 under the caution like we talked about a minute ago.
Tough break for Scott Riggs because, as you said, now he's 3 laps down with hardly any way to get him back.
The caution was for Butch Miller, who had looked like a tire go down and got up and bounced off the wall in turns 3 and 4. He has continued on away and is on the pit road along with the rest of these cars.
Now, all these cars that you see are going to come to the front pit until Greg Biffle on the 60, Matt.
Greg Biffle been fighting a loose race car, an entry and loose above. They were talking about what to do to this race car. They're going to fix it with air pressure. He's got the last pit stall on the backstretch. 4-tire change. They can go the distance now on fuel if they need to. Marty.
Jimmy Spencer comes slowly down this front stretch pit road, Matt. The car is loose. It has gotten better. They're going to go down on the track bar. He won this race in 1997. Clearly has the fastest car right now. Kevin Harvick is way in front of him on pit road. The car is also a little bit loose for Harvick. They make an air pressure adjustment on Kevin Harvick's car. They, too, think their car is getting better. Harvick wants some water inside the car. That is his biggest concern. Very hot out here. A lot of these drivers are hot inside the race car. Spencer will lose a lot of position on pit road. Kevin Harvick will win the race, Alan.
Jeff Green in the 21 car had a 4-tire stop in 18 seconds.
Michael Waltrip also was in, Dave.
And the crew made a great adjustment. Michael pitted very close to the wall, Alan, and the jackman was able to angle the jack and still get the car up with a pump and a half. They changed 4 tires. He was a little bit loose. They made a wedge adjustment for that. They also handed him an elbow pad for his right elbow. It was a little bit, needed some assistance, shall we say.
Let's check how they came off pit road. It was close.
Harvick, there's the line, and then it's...
Oh, that is close.
Wimmer, maybe?
Got to give that to Wimmer.
Yeah. No, it's very, very close, but yeah, it looks like Wimmer by an inch or 2. Man.
So Kevin Harvick's team gets him back out in front of Jimmy Spencer, Scott Wimmer, Greg Biffle, et al. And we're under caution once again here at Bristol Motor Speedway on TNT. Cat Rental Stores presents NASCAR Busch Series Racing, brought to you by the Cat Rental Store, where you can rent cat equipment and a whole lot more. By KFC, there's fast food, then there's KFC. And by Pep Boys, help for your cars just a Pep Boys away. Pep Boys, we're car people. Just back under the green flag here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and Kevin Harvick is back out in front of the Food City 250.
Scott Wimmer did win the race off pit road in front of Jimmy Spencer, but Spencer's already gotten by Wimmer to take over second and set on the chase after Kevin Harvick.
And that Todd Bodine there right in front of Jimmy, who didn't make it, who didn't beat the leader back to the yellow, so...
Nor did Hank Parker Jr.
He drives out of the way, lets Jimmy and Wimmer go.
Parker and the 92 car of Todd Bodine had already taken the caution flag, so legally could not race Jimmy Spencer back to the start-finish line.
Okay, so let's reset the scene on this one. Harvick gets the lead back from Spencer on the pit stops. Everybody should be good to go to the finish here.
Yes.
Those are probably the last pit stops we've seen, unless things really get crazy in the final laps. We've got 14 cars on the lead lap. Both the championship contenders are running right together on the speedway.
And that they're running 4th and 5th. We're on board with Jason Keller. There you see him at 57. And Greg Biffle directly in front of him.
Nice job by Biffle's crew. Picked him up a couple of spots on that stop. And that pit box that they chose to take at the end of the backstretch.
Spencer is breathing all over the back of Harvick.
Boy, that Spencer, that yellow car is so fast tonight.
Man, that car gets off the corner so good.
Here he goes for the lead. Put him back in front. Number 1 on the side of the car, and number 1 in your hearts.
No contest. So Jimmy Spencer gets back what was given up on pit road, retakes the top spot from team owner James Finch. Scott Wimmer's crew got him out second off pit road, but Matty quickly fell back to third.
Well, Alan, he had the very first pit stall on the backstretch. He told his crew chief, Booty Barker, and Scott Wimmer was telling him the car is just way too tight up off the corner. You have to fix that if we're going to have a chance to score our first win. What they did, they made a track bar adjustment. Other than that, his crew chief, Booty Barker, told Scott, this may be, probably will be, more than likely will be our last stop tonight. You've got to get what you can get.
I think that's a definite maybe, don't you, Matt?
Benny, I think maybe you might be right.
Very nice.
All right, here we go. Wimmer on the inside of Harvick, taking over that second spot. He's got it.
Wausau, Wisconsin.
Attaway, Scott, Attaway. Get your rhythm back now.
Scott Wimmer, his crew chief Booty Barker there, talking to him. And this team really did kind of have a little renaissance in the second half of this season. They struggled the first half of this year for Bill Davis, but things have really turned around for them. Last 3 races, started 26th, finished 6th at Pikes Peak, started 32nd, finished 3rd at Indianapolis Raceway Park, started 29th, finished 7th at Michigan. They're passing a lot of cars.
And, you know, they're doing so well. We're talking about Scott Wimmer, the guy in second spot, as we see Jimmy Spencer, the leader, go down the corner. All right, Greg Biffle up. Oh, here we go. Now, Biffle, don't run in the back of it.
I don't think he'll do that.
Yeah, I don't think he will.
Ricky Hendrick showing some smoke on his car.
Yeah. That's not good.
And Biffle goes to third.
Wasn't we heard the report from Biffle's pit before the pit stops that, you know, Randy Goss told him, when you come in, we'll fix it. Obviously, they've helped the handling of that 60 a lot.
So Ricky Hendrick, the 5 car, going down pit road, obviously, to me, obviously through for the evening. There he is.
Things don't smoke like that without reason. You know, is the rear end housing on that car moved over?
I was going to say that probably from the rear end, the way the smoke was coming out the back like that.
Well, they're working on it like is a tire rubbing the fender or something, like the engine is running okay. Now they've got the big bars out. Maybe just made contact with someone, knocked the fender in on a tire. And that was the rub. The smoke that we saw.
Caution for debris. Yellow flag is out. There's something on the racetrack in turn number 3. One of NASCAR's spotters around the racetrack calling that into race control a moment ago. So Kevin Moss gets that yellow-colored flag and waves it over this racetrack one more time. Caution number 6. Getting closer to that over-under number, BP. Back at Bristol, surprise, surprise. Kevin Harvick gives up the spot on the racetrack to pit. Marty?
Well, this we will have to investigate. Kevin Harvick does come down pit road, and it'll be a 4-tire stop. No visible chassis adjustments. We'll have to find out the thinking here behind this move, because they clearly had a very good race car. Also, Jason Keller on pit road, and they now leave pit road. We'll have to find out the strategy here, guys, because everybody could have made it all the way on fuel.
Wow.
What do you think?
I don't know.
No idea.
I really don't know. Jason Keller, that was a shock.
Pretty easy to go with Harvick because, A, he's not up there in the points. He's only running a handful of Busch races, and his car obviously was not as good as Spencer or Wimmer.
Yeah, I mean,
he fell from the lead back to third quick.
He's trying to win the race. The 29 cars out there trying to make adjustments, get new tires on to win the race, but Keller's trying to win the war. We talked about it. You know, the battle is one thing, but the championship is another, and he gives up a lot of spots. So evidently something pretty seriously wrong with the 57 car.
You know, BP, I don't know. It's only 13 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's true.
It might just be a
What do
gamble.
they have to lose?
Might just
Put
be a
fresh
gamble.
tires on it. And
well, there you
go with it.
Marty's investigating. We'll get back to him in a moment.
Well, that doesn't mean we're going to get the answer.
No, come on now. Napa Field summary. Leaders tonight, Jason Keller, Jimmy Spencer, Kevin Harvick, and Hank Parker Jr. 6 cautions so far. Out of the race number, relatively low considering we had one crash earlier tonight that had a dozen cars in it.
Green flag.
Well, Hank Parker Jr., the 36 car, Spencer gets by. Now Wimmer gets by, but Biffle right on his back bumper.
Let's see, Harvick and Keller restarted 12th and 13th with 74 to go.
Marty, what's going on with Kevin Harvick's team?
Well, let's find out. Bobby Leslie. See if you can get. Why did you pit?
Well, those other guys were a lot better than we were. We're not running for points. We couldn't beat them, so we pitted.
All right, they're going to win the race. They're going after the win. Jason Keller's team said they were way too tight. They came down, made an air pressure adjustment and a track bar adjustment. They're trying to win the war, but you know what, Benny? They're trying to win this battle, too.
Oh, no, right in front of Jason Keller, the 31 spins.
Is out.
Tim Fedewa in that 31, and somehow everybody gets by.
And that was
a bad
That's
spot.
the place to be, yeah. Driver's side door up the racetrack is not good.
Tim Fedewa with a spin that brings out caution number 7.
Is that Tinkerbell?
That would be a praying mantis, I think.
Join me tomorrow night at TNT Discover Car, countdown to green. Be here at 7 o'clock and I'll teach you how to get around this place we call Bristol. Back to you, Alan.
Wow, I feel like a ventriloquist. I've got a dummy here. And
I don't know if I'll teach you anything about getting around Bristol, but that's the line they fed me, so
Yeah.
I went with it.
Fun, though.
I want to see this and see all the new lines and what have you. How is that driving the No Boundaries car?
It's hard when you have to talk and do it at the same time. You know how that is. And you got people talking to you, telling you what to say.
But these drivers do it all the time. Talk to the crew chief and all that other stuff, you know. Just same thing as being a driver, right?
It's just out of practice, I guess.
There you go. Got plenty last Saturday. Discover Card Countdown to Green kicks off our coverage of the Sharpie 500 tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time from here in Bristol. Talk about the emotions of short track racing. Got a nice look at Joe Gibbs Racing. What's going on with them? Yes, Wally drives the track. And we'll have Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd on the wagon with Weber.
Short track emotion. That's anger, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Getting mad. Okay.
Much.
Yeah, you don't have happy emotions at a short track.
Yeah. No happy. Well, the winner has a happy emotion.
Only happy emotion.
Only happy emotion.
66 laps to go. As we go green here, Jimmy Spencer leads, Scott Wimmer, Greg Biffle, Mike McLaughlin, and Jeff Green.
And Jimmy had a little problem there, maybe on the second shift.
Didn't last long. He got away from Wimmer quickly.
Yeah, well, I think everybody had to check up there a little bit.
See Mike McLaughlin, the 18 car, in the 4th position.
He got Michael up there in 6th. Birthday boy Kenny Wallace is in 7th. And Randy LaJoy in 8th spot.
Tony Raines nice and quietly up into the top 10 also in the 33 car. Mikey had his hands full, huh?
Yeah. Hank Parker Jr., the 36 car, kind of got in the side of the 99 car a little bit, down in 3 and 4.
Checking up on Kevin Harvick and Jason Keller. They're back in 10th and 11th right now. Problem is, in all this traffic they have to their inside on the restart, they're about a half lap down to Spencer already. I'll tell you what now. Wimmer and Biffle have hung with Spencer on this restart much better than they did before. Be interesting to see if they can make a race out of this thing.
Well, there you see him. You're right. They're right there with him. But it looked like that Spencer's strong suit before was in the long run. He was not that good in the short run, but boy, after about 30, 40 laps.
Oh 24 car. Jack Sprague didn't hit anything.
Smoking bad, though.
Oh, the track bar's broken on the 24 car. Did he somehow saved that thing?
It was a right side tire or something. The right side to begin with. If nothing's flat, he's blown up. Left sides are good.
Something's broke, guys.
The rear track bar, Panhard bar is broken, I think.
Crew guy just noticed it there in the left rear of the car.
There you go.
Put him behind the wall. Put him behind the wall and fix the track bar.
Dennis Conner, the crew chief. You can hear the torture in his voice. What a miserable last month and a half it's been for this team. They were leading the points at Daytona. And now they're a couple of hundred behind and falling.
And Wimmer, you're right. He's hanging tough right there with Spencer. And Biffle not that far behind. McLaughlin hanging in there pretty tough, too. We're right along board with Scott Wimmer. You know, and this team was not supposed to run the rest of the NASCAR Busch Series. I mean, after about the middle of the year, they did not have finances, did not have funding, so they said, we're going to stop. But Bill, they're running so well, and you talked about how well they've been running. Bill Davis just didn't have the heart to say, don't go to the racetrack anymore. They're still in there. They're fifth in point standings, and really, truly, Buddy told me they think they can run third before the year's over.
Yeah, the Siemens money, you see the decals on the side of the car. That was for a limited number of races.
Yes.
And they didn't find another backer to augment that to run the full schedule, but they're fifth in points. And Bill Davis still believes that Scott Wimmer is the future of his team. 26-year-old kid with a world of talent, and he wants to keep going. And Wimmer, one of 8 drivers in tonight's race, who will also compete in the Sharpie 500 here tomorrow night. So Bill Davis will have 3 cars in tomorrow night's race. 54 laps to go.
I'll tell you, Fred, I can't tell if Jimmy's having a hard time turning that car or what, but he's not getting through the center.
I'll tell you what, when Jimmy gets high, he really struggles. His car, the one car, is really good on the bottom, but he moved up the racetrack down there, and he's really struggling. Look here, Wimmer is right there.
Reeling him in.
Watch when Jimmy goes up the racetrack. Seems to have his hands full.
Get our crack pit reporters on Jimmy's car, see what's happened.
Spencer trying to put Butch Miller in the 75 down 2 laps, make that 5 laps. Butch is already down 4. 50 laps to go. Take a break here. Spencer leads, Wimmer and Biffle close behind. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The drama of basketball returns to TNT. Reggie Miller and the rest of Team USA take on Algeria in the World Championships of Basketball. Coverage begins next Thursday at 9 Eastern, live from Indianapolis on TNT.
Starting to get crowded up at the front, BP.
Boy, it sure is. And I tell you what, only a little 40 laps to go, so all these guys trying to use this lap traffic, trying somehow, some way to gain a position, and McLaughlin is right behind in 4th spot.
Kevin Harvick is on pit road.
Something's wrong with the left rear tire. It looks like it might be flat or something.
Looks like that tire's up in the fender well. Like he's got a broken track bar or something.
Something's definitely wrong there.
It looks like it was shoved forward.
So Harvick's chance to win tonight is over. Probably see him just take that one behind the wall and call it a night. Marty, you know what's up there?
Well, when he was coming down pit road, he said he hit the kill switch. So he has coasted now behind the wall, and we'll go investigate further. After all, we are crack pit reporters, right, Lally?
That's right, Marty.
Big pressure on the lead. Scott Wimmer working Spencer over in traffic. Greg Biffle right there if either one of them slip. Mike McLaughlin about a second and a third back in fourth place, and Jeff Green running fifth.
Jimmy seems to be working the traffic a little bit better than these guys behind him right now. And I'm sure he's got a spotter up there telling the other spotters too, hey, we're coming, give us a break.
Kind of seems like it's a who slips game right now. Spencer slips, Wimmer tracks him down, then Wimmer slips and Spencer gets away.
Yeah.
Behind them, Jason Keller only up to ninth place, so he hasn't really made any progress after his pit stop a little bit ago.
Riding with Biffle here.
So he just wiggled and slipped coming around that lap car.
And here comes McLaughlin closing up the gap on him.
Yeah. Marty, you got Kevin?
I do. He promptly dumped an entire bottle of water on his head. What happened? What happened?
I hit the kill switch. It doesn't need to be in there.
All right. Obviously, he's a little upset with himself, I think, in this case. And he said he hit the kill switch, and that killed the motor. And when you're not running for points, you know what? It's not even worth trying to go back out there, guys.
Okay.
Is he referring to the kill switch on the steering wheel?
Think so.
Yeah.
Here comes Wimmer once again. It was Spencer's turn to slip or get bottled up by the lap cars. Take your choice. And they get through the traffic, and Spencer gets back away.
Yeah.
Kind of playing the accordion here, these two are. 33 to go. Here in the Food City 250 at Bristol, Jimmy Spencer leading. Scott Wimmer and Greg Biffle are closely pursuing. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Bristol Motor Speedway as Cat Rental Stores presents NASCAR Busch Series racing on TNT. Things we're following for you through the night tonight. So far, Greg Biffle runs third. Jason Keller's back in ninth. It's going to result in a net loss on the evening of the championship for Keller.
And cautions, we talked about that. We said the over-under was 10. And I said, Wallace said it would be over. You said it would be under. Right now it is what? 6?
7. And who fights tonight? Well, so far, nobody.
But it's not over.
We've still got laps to go. Jimmy Spencer leads. Scott Wimmer has fallen now 9/10 of a second behind him in second. Greg Biffle is third. Mike McLaughlin fourth. And Jeff Green is fifth. We've got 12 cars on the lead lap. And let's do us a little abbreviated through the field here. Marty, start us off.
Well, Vinny, you kind of predicted earlier that Jimmy Spencer's car would come on later. That seems to be coming to fruition now. His car is very good on these long runs. He starts out loose, but it does come to him the longer he goes. That's working for him right now. Matt?
Marty, the guy trying to reel in the one car is a 23 of Scott Wimmer back on lap 148. They made a track bar adjustment to help the tightness. It has helped, but now the biggest hindrance appears to be lap traffic. Trying to reel him in, score his fifth top 7 finish on the concrete tracks this season, hopefully scoring a win. Meanwhile, there's the 60 car of pole leader Greg Biffle. We told you he was loose on entry, loose up off. They fixed that with air pressure. He's just trying to reel in the top 2 guys and score his second straight short track victory.
Well, Matt, another solid run for Mike McLaughlin up there in the 4th position. Very typical Mike McLaughlin, too. Very quiet night, just hanging around. He was loose early. They made a track bar adjustment. They've gone too far. Now he's just a little bit too tight. He finished second here in the spring. Behind him, Jeff Green, the March winner, who finished in front of Mike McLaughlin. A little bit loose right now for Jeff Green, but just a little bit. They like the car a lot, but again, fighting the same problem, track position. Dave?
Kenny Wallace earlier was a little bit tight, but then he told him, don't touch the car, it's great. So the last pit stop, they changed 4 tires, made no changes. Now he's just struggling with all the lap traffic, but the car is pretty good. The 99 of Michael Waltrip, they think they went up a little high on the air pressures when they made their last pit stop, which was also a long time before a lot of these guys made their last pit stop. They've been hoping for more yellow flag laps to keep the tires on a par with the other guys. They haven't gotten them. Marty?
What a great run for Tony Raines up into the 8th position, working on his career best finish here at Bristol. His best finish before now is 8th, and that's his only top 10 here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. He, too, fighting a little bit of a loose race car, but it's gotten pretty good as the night has gone along. Behind him, Jason Keller. We will question the move to come down and take on 4 Tire, but his crew chief and his team do not question that move. They are very firmly behind that move. They said that was our only shot to win the race. They may lose a little ground tonight, but they wanted to win this race, Dave.
Randy LaJoie's car has been tight all night long, Marty. They've just been making air pressure adjustments to try to fix it. They did get a break last time they stopped. They had a left front going down, didn't know about it, and they changed 4 tires on lap 149. Marty?
Great run for Jamie McMurray up in the 11th position. This team has been very consistent lately. I talked to Jamie this morning. He told me they tested here a couple of weeks ago, and it was the best test that he has ever done with Bruco Motorsports. It is paying off right now, just a little bit loose, Alan.
McMurray and his Bruco teammate Kevin LePage are conducting a fundraiser here tonight. Their team owner Clarence Brewer is donating money for every lap that they finish to the Andy Kirby family. Kirby, former Busch Series driver and track champion in Nashville, who was killed in a motorcycle accident back on July 18th. Jimmy Spencer, well in command here at Bristol right now.
Yeah, his car is going to have to fall off a whole bunch for him to get caught right now. He's running a good line through the corners. He's getting out the corner real well.
In fact, second place is settled down too. Wimmer has put some distance on Greg Biffle. Things are starting to heat up on Biffle, though, because Mike McLaughlin and Jeff Green and Kenny Wallace are closing in on him. But for now, Spencer's got it on sale.
And I'll tell you, these laps go by so quickly. I mean, 11 to go, it's 10, and before you know it, it's going to be 5.
Yep. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Al, we told you at the beginning of the show that Randy Goss, Biffle's crew chief, said the key tonight is keeping the fenders on it. Well, this place is so brutal, it's even tough on the pace car. The pace car got hit tonight by a wrecker. Nobody's safe down here.
Look out, guys. Be careful down there. That's all I can tell you.
No kidding.
We don't want any pit reporters being hit.
Well, let's not go that far.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, the way this race started off, I'd have never thought it had been this clean. We had a wreck at lap 14, 24, 35, 44. Those ones that went at lap 35 and 44 took out 11 and 14 cars each, or damaged.
Took out half the field, so we didn't have a shot at 10.
Yeah. So your over-under is going to miss.
And Allen gets one right for once.
How about that? Jimmy Spencer took the lead at lap number 109 for the first time, led 40 laps at that time, and he went back out in front at lap 160, got shuffled back to third on a set of caution flag pit stops. Quickly, though, marched back through to the lead, and he, it looks like, is going to lead the final 90 laps of this event. But still got 5 to go. This is Bristol. Anything can happen. And most often time does. I talked about a minute ago that Greg Biffle was slipping back into the clutches of McLaughlin for 3rd and 4th place. Now McLaughlin has fallen back, so even that settled out. Really did thin the field out with a lot of those crashes.
And Jimmy's in a lot of traffic right now.
But we got a great battle going on right now between Kenny Wallace and Jeff Green. Jeff Green at 21, Kenny in the 48. Battle for 5th.
The birthday boy, Kenny Wallace. And up front, Spencer closing in on 11th place Jamie McMurray in that 27 to try and put him a lap down. Dominate's a pretty good word.
Yes, I don't think he's going to have to worry about. Oh, we see his car spin.
Stand in front of you.
Careful, Jimmy.
Dig it. Get going.
Jimmy, you better get going. You're going to get past.
Go. Here it comes. Scott Wimmer. Oh! White flag.
Final lap at Bristol. Can Wimmer get close enough to do a bump and run?
If he does, he better keep on running.
Keep running till tomorrow, huh? Here he comes. Can he get close enough? Off turn 4, no. Jimmy Spencer wins the Food City 250. He had the race well in command. And then a lap car got sideways in front of him and erased all of his advantage. like you said, it's not over till it's over. It's Bristol.
That's a great job by Tim Saunders, the 19 car, to not spin out.
Jimmy Spencer with his first Busch Series win since September of 2001 when he won on the short track in Richmond, Virginia. And overall his 12th NASCAR Busch Series victory.
I guess we'll see you in Victory Circle, huh?
Check this out now. Jimmy Spencer had the race well in command, and then things went wrong in front of him.
I'll guarantee you, this got his attention. You see him dropping down the corner, right in front of him. Car gets sideways, so he checks up. In the meantime, they're screaming in Wimmer's ear, "Go, go, go, go!" And I mean, he just about pulled it off. In fact, he was awfully polite right there.
Dave Burns is with the winning team.
Well, I'm with the crew chief, co-crew chief, Johnny Allen. And Allen kind of said it with 5 laps to go. He said it might still happen strange here at Bristol. It almost did with Wimmer catching you guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a spin or something over there, and he got up on us. But Jimmy's a smart driver, and I mean, he drove a smart race all night, and the car was excellent. Yellow Chevrolet run good all night.
And did you guys think you'd get back to victory lane anytime? We were kind of worried for you.
Yeah, I mean, we've been due. We've had a lot of troubles through the year. I mean, should have won at Daytona, had a car tire cut down. You know, odd things here and there happen, but we knew if we kept plugging along, we'd have a good enough car and a good enough driver to get to victory lane again.
All right, and victory lane's over there. Go celebrate.
Jimmy Spencer gets to be the first to try out Bristol's new victory lane. We'll visit with him there when we come back on TNT. Cat Rental Stores presents NASCAR Busch Series Racing on TNT. Brought to you by the Cat Rental Store, where you can rent cat equipment and a whole lot more. By Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. And by Aaron's, furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers at the guaranteed lowest price. Jimmy Spencer has won tonight here in Bristol. He's in victory lane with Marty.
And he got so excited he couldn't wait to get out of the car. You didn't wait for us. We wanted to see your dismount. Your crew wasn't here. Your dad wasn't here. Why'd you have to get out of the car so quick?
Oh, man, Morty, I won at Bristol again. You know, I'm so excited. What a car. You know, I've had a good car in the spring, and I love this racetrack. You know, I feel like it's a special place for me. And my anniversary was yesterday. I won before for my wife and I. And how many years we've been married, babe?
Oh, you're supposed to know that. Now, you don't have to search Pat for that answer. You're supposed to know that.
21 years, Marty. That's awful, but I got 2 great kids. My son and my daughter. Here, how many years, babe, has it been?
21.
All right, 21
years, Marty.
There you go, Spencer.
I got a great sponsor in Yellow. I mean, they're a great company. They let me race when I want to race, and we're even going to cut back some more next year. But the people from Yellow, all the dock workers, truck drivers, the people that use us, they're special. I go around to Chicago, Kansas City, you name it. I go everywhere I can to meet those Yellow people, and they're pretty special, and they really support this program.
I don't think you're excited enough, Jimmy. You need to be a little more excited, okay, next time?
No, Morty, thanks. And I love Bristol, man. I love this place.
There you go. He's done it twice here. It's a good feeling to win here at Bristol. Matt?
Marty, Scott Wimmer had everybody on their feet. Looked like you were going to have a shot at maybe giving him a bumper run, or at least trying to take a shot at the win.
Yeah, it was close. He checked up down the backstretch there and got up on him, but Spencer had a strong car. I would have liked to rough them up a little bit. Just, I see him at Pontiac's running great, and we should have a win by now. It's just eluding us for some reason. But, I'm real proud of the Bill Davis guys. They gave me a great pit stop tonight and came up close, just a little short.
Career best finish second for Scott Wimmer. Dave?
Last week at Michigan, Greg had a string of top 10s broken. This is a nice rebound. You played a calculated play at the end, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. You know, my car was better than Scott Wimmer there at the beginning, but then I started falling off just a little bit. Had to overdrive it to keep up. So the guys told me Keller's in 9th, so I just rode it out in 3rd there. You know, my chances of passing him were slim. It's really tough to pass here at Bristol, and the guys did a fantastic job with the Granger car here tonight. And I'm just excited for everybody, and where our program's going so good. And I'd like to say hi to everybody back home, mom and dad, brother, and just everybody. Had a great time here at Bristol.
All right, this was a move toward becoming the Busch Series champion, if he can, guys.
Here are the finishing results from tonight's Food City 250. And where championship is concerned, Greg Biffle finished third, Jason Keller ninth. It was a positive points night for Biffle.
You see, Jamie McMurray will finish 11th, the last car on the lead lap. Hornaday will be the first car one down. Now, all these guys had trouble. Most of them had some kind of crashes.
Gary Earnhardt off the track at the checkered flag. Drivers involved in some of the early accidents out of the race, including Mike Wallace. The gap between the top two was 56 coming in. 22 more in Biffle's favor as the Busch Series heads to Darlington Raceway in South Carolina 1 week from tomorrow. Coming up tomorrow night on TNT, it's the Sharpie 500 from Bristol Motor Speedway. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with Discover Card Countdown to Green. And next, get ready for more drama with Kurt Russell in Soldier on the East and West Coasts. Well, the over-under, the under one this evening. Thank you.
Attaboy.
No fights at the end of the night, but plenty of bent-up sheet metal. And when checkered flag waved, it was Jimmy Spencer wrapping up his first win of the season and his second here at Bristol in NASCAR Busch Series competition. 125,000 here tonight. Put another 22,000 more in here tomorrow night and make it Winston Cup stars doing battle on the world's fastest half mile. Join us for more action from Bristol tomorrow night at 7 Eastern here on TNT. Jimmy Spencer, your winner tonight.